how and why the atom bomb and nuclear disasters being harmful are a propaganda hoax and a fear tactic. The original date and circumstances of the original atom bomb in 1945 at the tail end of World War II is first and foremost very suspect. To come up with this technology just in the perfect time. Allegedly, the atom bomb was dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. Expert analysis of bomb sites examined both locations and found nothing notable any different than typical firebombed or carpet-bombed cities, noting no extreme force was present and fragile things like light posts, various trees, signs, and buildings stood exactly like conditions of firebombed cities. The Red Cross Hospital was in the impact zone and was unaffected, full of patients. There were details of which bombers actually firebombed both cities listed, and all details can be found in my video called Tricked Again, Hiroshima was carpet bombed, with expert analysis and detailed government documents as well as expert analysis from that time. The truth is, the atom bomb is not real and was used as a fear tactic of propaganda, World War II, and the idea has been perpetuated by governments who had already worked in unison to perpetuate fear to humanity in general. We have also proven the United States and USSR had worked together throughout the 1950s to fake the space race and create fake space propaganda. This is nothing new that governments work together. The Cold War and fear of total annihilation from a nuclear missile attack are another myth to implement fear and control. The next issue is the fear of nuclear meltdowns and toxic radiation causing deformities. First, men were on the ground at ground zero of Hiroshima the next day taking video and photographs unaffected by any nuclear meltdown or waste. These cities are fully populated today. All cities of nuclear meltdowns are inhabited by populations and are unaffected. I personally read the environmental impact soil reports of recent samples taken from the Santa Susana nuclear site in California, and no adverse findings could be found. This study was in-depth as it was the future site of residential homes which has since been built and inhabited. There's nothing in the soil. A man by the name of Galen Windsor was involved in the very beginning of refining uranium to plutonium, and he ended his illustrious career held in the highest regard in his industry and was on site for all major nuclear power plants being decommissioned, including 3 Mile Island. He stated there was nothing wrong with 3 Mile Island reactors and they were merely a forced shutdown as a scam. He went on to travel the nation informing our society that nuclear power is perfectly safe and the shutdown and scare tactics are a fear campaign because nuclear power is the safest and cleanest way to boil water and create clean and cheap energy. He proved uranium is safe. He would drink it and he would swim in the pools in the power plants to prove how safe it was. To further prove the fear and manipulation, mainstream media produced the movie China Syndrome that was released March 16th, 1979. This was the first time anyone heard of a meltdown and being harmful. It primed people's minds with fear and the idea of a core meltdown. 2 weeks later, on March 28, 1979, the 3 Mile Island core reactor meltdown hoax was done. Galen Windsor said it was a hoax, and he would know better than anyone in the world. So isn't that amazing that a movie comes out 2 weeks prior to the first nuclear meltdown in the United States? Just a coincidence. And people thought it was very eerie how this movie predicted something, and how could they possibly know? Isn't that bizarre? It's time to let go of the fear and the idea that nuclear disaster is looming threat. Sleep better at night knowing it is only a fear tactic. All old videos of nuclear testing can be analyzed to see they are either large dynamite-type explosions or total phony creations from models and special effects.
We could get many of the answers to these questions by constructing a complete city at our Nevada proving ground and then exploding a nuclear bomb over it. We could study the effects of damage over a wide area, under all conditions, and plan civil defense measures accordingly. But such a gigantic undertaking is not feasible. Instead, we build representative units of a test city, with steel and stone and brick and mortar, with precision and skill, as though it were to last 1,000 years. But it's a weird, fantastic city, a creation right out of science fiction. A city like no other on the face of the earth. Homes, neat and clean and completely furnished, that will never be occupied. Bridges, massive girders of steel spanning the empty desert. Railway tracks that lead to nowhere, for this is the end of the line. But every element in these tests is carefully planned as to its design and location in the area. A variety of materials and building techniques are often represented in a single structure. Every brick, beam, and board will have its story to tell. When pieced together, these will give some of the answers and some of the information we need to survive in the nuclear age. At varying distances from ground zero, the point of detonation, numerous experimental elements are assembled. Underground structures and facilities of various types play their part in duplicating the complexity of the modern city. The vast research program includes testing such items as covering materials, paints, varnishes, plastics, also various fabrics and samples of clothing. On the outskirts of our test city, a synthetic forest has been erected to determine the protective value of foliage and trees. To give us a ringside view of the event, high-speed cameras stand like lonely sentinels, ready to photograph the hurricane of fury. Before leaving the test area, a final check is made on the multitude of instruments and technical devices which will record a variety of blast phenomena for future study. Now, with all the elements in place, our test city is complete.
Here is a picture of the high-speed cameras. You can see they're up on poles. It's hard to say how tall the poles are, but watch during the film as they show the buildings being blown apart and structures falling down, that the pictures from these cameras remains rock solid. These cameras don't sway a bit in the blast like you would expect them to.
Seconds later, the blast wave reaches the trenches. As the tower of smoke and flame looms overhead, one thought is uppermost in all minds. Now it's over. The fury of it had started.
All other alleged meltdowns are the same. Some residents of Chernobyl never left and lived there unaffected, along with the wildlife and thriving natural vegetation. It was a giant hoax.
На Чернобыльской атомной электростанции произошла авария. Поврежден один из атомных реакторов.
160,000 people evacuated from here. They had to leave for good, and there was like no choice.
Ой, играй, гармонист, играй, голуб'йоночак, ти не кидай у хажорки, як меня мільйоночак.
Тільки йшли так, будто би як партизани. Підкопувалися під проволоку і тоді йшли додому.
Це всі помирали, да?
Дуже мало людей, мало.
А хоч якийсь дід є тут?
А, бо там такі два, що не плод. Вот бабушкин город. Вот это все мое. Все мое. Прощай, розум, завтра встретимся.
Полнодвесный реактор Чернобыльской атомной электростанции.
Это те люди, которые нелегально проникают в зону Чернобыльской АЭС. Придется самостоятельно опасность для жизни и для здоровья.
Пробу, она, конечно, приходит вся активная.
You always kind of wonder about the last specimen of a dying species and how lonely that must be.
Тихо, тепер хрестись та й тікай. Надо было в то время убрать людей отсюда.
Родителей я не знаю. Все. А голоду боюсь. Все. Чорнобиль там храп має, те, що ми живемо тут.
Нікуди не поїду, хай мене під пістолетом.
Ви нас не бойтесь, бо в нас радіації нема.
2011 Fukushima, Japan disaster is another. We were told we would get cancer from the fish in the ocean, and the radiation was coming through the tides to California, and we were all going to get sick. Nothing happened, and people live there in Fukushima today unaffected. They say the half-life of the Chernobyl disaster is 24,000 years, so it would never be safe to inhabit. Yet residents proved it was a lie because they never left, and they're perfectly healthy.
Okay, radioactive material. You pour it out in the hand, and that's radioactive contamination. Is it radioactive? Yeah, it is. Very radioactive. Now, decontamination is nothing but scooping it back up and putting it into the bottle. I just now decontaminated my hand. No, I didn't do such a good job. Not good at all. Is it still radioactive? Yeah, that's called residual radioactivity. Now, under the decontamination rules of the government, when you decontaminate somebody like this that's that contaminated, and this is certainly a reportable incident under current DOE regulations, when you decontaminate him, it has to go down a controlled drain so that you don't disperse radioactivity. Do I qualify as a controlled drain? That material that I just ate is not soluble in body fluids. Like it's been this. It was fired at 940 degrees C, where it becomes U3O8. Known in the industry as HCl insoluble. In other words, it will not dissolve in concentrated hydrochloric acid, hot. Your stomach has 10th normal hydrochloric acid in it, so it won't even dissolve. The stuff is so fine that it has no texture to it. Doesn't even feel rough. So it's tasteless, odorless, has no texture. How's it supposed to hurt me? Because I've been eating this on lecture tour for 2 years, the state of Washington felt it necessary to confiscate my uranium samples so that I would be safe.
Be a part of helping to stop the fear from this awful lie and tell your family it is a hoax, just another scam. We figured out another lie and we will no longer participate in the lies. Here's a short list of other big lies to not participate in and spread the word of truth to help our next generation create a better future with less nonsense. Of course, it's going to take you some investigation and some deep soul searching because a lot of these topics are very deep rooted and it will challenge your core beliefs in many ways. The lies are: the Big Bang Theory is a lie. Evolution is a lie. A finite amount of oil because it was created by dead dinosaurs and we're going to run out is a lie. Oil is plentiful inside of the earth, in the ground. Dinosaurs are a lie. The war on terror, as described by our government, is a lie. 9/11 was a lie. Mass shootings being random acts is a lie, and they are coordinated hoaxes. COVID is a lie. George Floyd race wars was a lie. January 6th Capitol insurrection nonsense was a lie. Climate change is a lie. Man-made weather modification has been a capability for over 70 years and has been used as a tactic to control and manipulate the masses, thinking that they are the ones causing their own demise. NASA is a lie. The planets being spherical rocks, rotating and flying in outer space, chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour is a lie. All outer space travel, including any rocket or space probe, is a lie. All photographs taken from the alleged outer space is a lie. The moon landing was a lie. All Mars missions or any mission into outer space is a lie. All space agencies is a lie. Space satellites are a lie. The heliocentric model is a lie. This place we live is not a ball flying through outer space. The Earth is motionless and a level plane, which is scientifically provable and repeatable. This place is special and was created by God. You are special and powerful. God created you. God loves you. God is real. I love you. Thank you for listening.